Hey, Rumble World Entertainment, and okay, we have an update. Albeit a bit of a confusing update because it gives us an update to the future of Star Trek, but at the same time, not really giving us an update to the future of Star Trek. And what I mean by that is, they are now telling us that Star Trek is absolutely a priority for Skydance. But where it gets confusing, they didn't say that future is with Alex Kurtzman and stuff. So it's like they've updated us telling us that it's a priority, which we're going to have a look at, because it seems to be they're almost talking more about it on the big screen than the small screen, but they're not clarifying whether or not it's going to continue with Secret Hideout and that stuff. So let's dive into this and actually have a look. So it's saying, with the Paramount merger now finalised, Skydance is making Star Trek great again. At least, let's hope so. Following years of subpar content, Dana Goldberg, now co-chair of Paramount and chair of Paramount Television, made it clear Star Trek is a priority across the company. This statement came during the new leadership's first press event in Los Angeles, following the studio's high-profile acquisition and reorganization. Notably, as a result of the merger and this event, the newly formed company's stock surged nearly 50%. We got word via Deadline about Skydance's Star Trek plans. Now, they still have an abundance of plans out here. They want a new animated show. They want the Year One, which is essentially the remake of the original series. They've got more ideas for just a ton of crap, and they're coming out with more and more crap. They're really trying to say, keep us on board, look at all the ideas we have. But anyway, it's saying David Ellison's Skydance has been involved with the franchise since Star Trek Into Darkness, giving the company over a decade of financial and production ties to the brand. Now, do keep that in mind, by the way. The fact that, yes, after all these years, people think Skydance are just going to walk in and be the saviors. You would hope that's the case, but they were behind J.J. Abrams' Star Trek. However, that was just financing it, basically. And, of course, we now are hearing how they are kind of getting fed up with the amount of money that Kurtzman is spending. So it's saying, now, with Ellison as CEO of the newly formed Paramount Skydance Corporation, Deadline says Star Trek will be in-house and under direct control. If that is indeed the case, that means Alex Kurtzman and his Secret Hideout production company are out when the contract expires next year, per the rumours. However, what is not clear is whether Skydance's comments at the press event pertain to Star Trek movies alone, or if they also include the streaming shows, which Kurtzman has been developing. And by the way, keep in mind, one of the things we've been hearing is that Kurtzman wants control of the movies as well, that he pitched that to Skydance during a meeting and they told him flat out, hell no. So Deadline adds that Paramount will no longer share profits or major finances like Star Trek, Top Gun and Transformers, crossing to fully fund them in-house and cut outside partners. This not only gives Skydance full creative control, but it also means Paramount intends to keep all of the potential financial gains or profits from its big franchises. Again, not clear if it includes the Star Trek streaming shows. So that's not a bad thing from where we're sitting hearing that, hey, the best way to get profitable is we make the things our bloody selves. Which is interesting as well, because we have been hearing about Star Trek is going to get outsourced. So let's have a look at this, because we've now two updates as well, saying update. In THR's report on the press event regarding Star Trek, their report says Star Trek will be looked at his holistically rather than sold off between different parts of the company, which means that Paramount plans to treat the entire Star Trek franchise as one unified brand across film, television, streaming, and other media, rather than handling each part separately. Now, that part would come from when CBS broke away from Paramount all those years back. That's when you started getting the whole 25% different. So that's why J.J. Abrams' Enterprise looked similar to, like, it was a recognizable ship, but at the same time completely different in the terms of its nacelles and stuff like that, because it had to be 25% different. Same with the uniforms, all that stuff. Skydance putting it all back under the one brand, which was meant to have already happened, but now they are saying no, flat out, it's all going to be back together. So the movies won't be separate from the shows and stuff like that. That's fine for canon and stuff like that, but it's also possibly going to get messy if they do the likes of what DC and Marvel are doing, where, hey, you want to be able to watch this movie, you gotta watch these 5 bloody shows, and that crap gets annoying. But then, update 2. A reporter from THR tweeted, yes, it's known that the new Paramount will look to refurbish Star Trek. So according to the report, 2 Star Trek films are actively in the works. The original character film, directed by Andor's Toby Hines, written by Seth Grahame-Smith, with Simon Kinberg and J.J. Abrams producing. This version introduces new characters, a new crew, and narrative direction. That thing's been talked about for the past 5 years. Then there's Kirk and Spock Return. Another project reunites the classic ensemble, with Abrams producing again and Stephen Yorkie, I think it's Yoki, on script duties. So, and then it just talks about all the crap we've already heard. But look, these films, the reason they're saying what's in development is because these have been the shit that's been in development for the past like 5, 6, 7 years. Pretty much since Star Trek Beyond came out, which was what, 2016? My God, it's going to be a decade since Star Trek has been on the big screen come next year. That's not a bad thing, because Star Trek really isn't a big screen entity. It is made for the small screen. But again, you see through all of the things they're talking about here is the fact that they are making Star Trek a priority. And not just Star Trek, they're looking at the likes of Top Gun 3 as a massive priority for them, all these other things. But the fact that Star Trek is a priority, good news. Confusing that they're not coming out and saying whether or not that is with Secret Hideout or not. The fact that they haven't said that it is with Secret Hideout does once again make the argument even stronger that they are ready to let that contract run out and not renew it. And that would be the best thing to happen. So we're gonna actually have to wait and get more information and see what exactly their plans are with this, and whether or not, when they're saying it's a priority, whether the priority right now is for big screen or small screen or both, because they haven't really clarified that either. But again, it's the kind of the things that they're not mentioning that I think speaks louder than everything else, which is that they haven't been speaking about Secret Hideout, that they're not speaking about Alex Kurtzman getting a new contract and stuff like that. So we really will have to keep our eyes on this situation. Hopefully it's good news, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see. So, with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Do like and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. It really is helping out the channel. The channel is growing again because of you fantastic people that are out there watching these videos, smashing those like buttons, those share buttons, those subscribe buttons. It really does help, and it is very much appreciated. So, thank you. And with that, cheers, and I shall catch you in the next one.